got done doing a 12-round session right now, you know, on the bag, you know, just getting the mood for boxing this weekend. So just wanted to make sure that my audio was working. Obviously, that one wasn't working, so I figured I just turned that into a workout video. So here it is. We're going to start a new live and then get cracking on the previews for this weekend's fights. Excuse me for just a second. You know, just getting the mood. Okay, good. We got the audio working. That's perfect. Okay, so now we can switch it right up right now. All right, mic check. 1, 2, just making sure the audio is working on this one. In about 30 seconds or so, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started with the conference session once we're on the 5-minute mark. All right, so let me know that you guys are tapped in and we will get this on and cracking. See, this is how you guys do it, right? You know, everybody talks about how they want to be a streamer and all of that, right? Everybody talks about how they want to be a streamer, an MMA streamer. But here's the problem with going to want to discredit you based on the fact that you don't train or you don't fight or you've never had a fight or you've never had any experience doing God knows whatever, right? So they're going to try to discredit you, especially guys like MMA Guru, okay, which by the way is the topic subject matter of this whole entire live stream, but not completely. Now, also, along with MMA Guru, there are other stories that we have to talk about. Obviously, there's Francis Ngannou pushing up on Dana White. Now, was anybody surprised about all of this? Well, to be quite honest with you and to be very fair and frank with you, you should not be surprised about this notion. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why you should not be surprised of this notion is because you need to understand that when it comes to fighters, you should never put it past them on being able to handle disputes with violent occurrences. Okay, you should never put that behind him. He says, you a professional yupper, I bet people hate taking rides with you. You'd be an annoying Uber driver. Please never be an Uber driver. I mean, you know, what a miserable life you have to come on here and say that to someone, right? First and foremost, right, I don't drive Uber, right? But I do know a lot of people that do drive Uber, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish by saying what you're trying to say. When you're trying to say, okay, well, I find you to be an annoying yapper. Well, what exactly do you think people do on YouTube when it comes to talking about MMA? Like, do you just sit there and I guess you can demonstrate MMA, but guess what? I do that. The last stream that I just did right now, 12-round boxing session, right? I've been in here showing you the MMA training sessions that I've had, whether it was with me or with other people or on the bag or whatever it is that I'm trying to do or trying to demonstrate a technique. So not only do I talk the talk, but I also walk the walk, my man. And if you are any worth of a person that walks the walk and talks the talk and walks the walk, well, then I tell you what, man, I don't know why you're even in here trying to project your miserable life, trying to down someone by saying, well, you know what, I'll bet you would be annoying Uber driver. Let me tell you something, bro. I've had several Uber experiences that were, quite frankly, very pleasant. And I don't understand why people out there have a very unpleasant moment in you know, having to take Uber. I think it's because a lot of people are just socially awkward and they don't know how to be nice to anybody. They don't know. First of all, I think you're one of these guys, and obviously I don't know you from a can of paint, but since you insult me, I'm going to give generalized statements to insult you back. You're probably one of these guys that's never really been told by their parents that they were loved, and so anytime that anybody displays any type of positive affirmation or a positive outlook in life, you look at that as some sort of disdain, right? Which, by the way, kind of goes into perhaps maybe your own personal life, having borderline narcissistic personality disorder, which, by the way, those are common signs to those things, and that's just really what it is. He says, you could probably kick my ass, but I still troll when I can. All right, you know what, man? I respect you for that, Ty Washburn. Shout out to you, my man. I respect you for saying that, right? He says that you could probably kick my ass, but I would still troll when I can. You know what? That's a very respectful thing to say. I'm going to tell you why, right? Because you're acknowledging that, okay, you know what? You have certain upper bound limits when it comes to, let's say, you know, I guess in this case, martial arts or self-defense, at least in comparison to me, right? So by you acknowledging that, you are also still acknowledging that, hey, you know what? I'll go out there and I'll troll anybody. And you're making it well known that this is your intention. With that in mind, you making that your intention, you know, it doesn't really seem that nefarious or really that distasteful come to think about it, right? You're being honest about who you are. You're forthcoming. You're saying, hey, you know what? I'm just a troll. This is what I do. It doesn't matter what you can do to me or what you're capable of doing to me. I'm going to troll you anyway. And you know what? I give you the proper respect on that, my man. Ty Washburn says, easy, St. Pierre. I was just trolling my guy. Yeah, no problem, bro. You know what? I'm just here being honest and forthcoming about who I am. Now, look, I got to be honest with you, right? Do I have funny moments in this channel in terms of being comedic? Yes, 100%. I have plenty of moments like that in this channel. However, do I take anything that anybody says here personally? Not really. But at the same time, even though I do by the words in the old school saying that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, I also do acknowledge that there are people out there who are not as strong-willed or strong-minded, or rather really secure of themselves to combat these types of trolls or to understand what their intentions are or who they are. But since you are forthcoming and honest, I was honest with you as well in telling you, look, man, I really don't like that you come at me in this particular matter, and I'm telling you why. So for those of you that are watching this right now, I hope you guys learned a lesson in knowing how to deal with not just trolls, but also civil discourse. Because by the end of the day, even if somebody is trying to troll you, or whether they are disagreeing with you vehemently to the point where maybe it might get a little bit insulting, always understand that it is just a person trying to create discourse with you. And if you are here to create discourse, my man, you are in the right channel, and you are very much welcome with all your opinions that may differ from mine. And also we can discuss and learn from each other at the same time. So Ty says, I'm not going to lie, I was scrolling and trolling, but I ended up liking you, so I'm going to give you a sub. There you go, man. Beautiful. Beautiful, Mr. Ty Washburn. Shout out to you, man. Everybody in the chat right now who's here, give Mr. Ty Washburn a warm welcome, right? Let's give him a warm welcome. Shout out to you. Let me know what part of the world you are from if you are willing to disclose that. You don't have to disclose any private matters or any incriminating matters. We are not here to convict anyone or to put anyone in jail. Not that kind of platform. And if you want that, you can go to DJ Vlad and No Jumper. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. So on any regard, let's get back to the fighting aspects of things, right? Obviously, a very busy weekend for fights. For example, you have the ring, number 4, with David Benavidez taking on Anthony Yarde. Nobody is willing to step up against David Benavidez. He is known as the Mexican Monster. Okay, how do you end up with a name like the Mexican Monster? Well, I'll tell you what. It's really that simple, okay? He is the new boogeyman of the 168, 175 division. And there are so many matchups that you could put against David Benavidez, but the unfortunate truth is that there are many people out there that are just not willing to go out and fight with him. And as a result of not many people out there willing to fight Mr. David Benavidez, what you have is a situation where his career is at a stalemate. Unless, of course, you got somebody like Anthony Yarde, who has taken on all comers. I mean, literally. He went to Russia to fight Kovalev when Kovalev was just Kovalev. The guy coming off of unaliving somebody literally in the ring. Just the only person that was able to beat Kovalev at the time was Andre Ward. And then Andre Ward was long and gone. And the next thing you know, it is Kovalev that's the boogeyman again. Right, so Anthony Yarde goes and tries his luck in Russia, okay, to no avail. All right, how about now? Let me know if the reception is right back on right now. I'm trying to disconnect, man. All right, let me know if the connection is right back on. 1 2 1 2, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Let me know if I'm back on, guys. Come on. The comment section, let me know. He says, You good for now? Did you read it? He says, yes. Okay, so the last comment, by the way, I said St. Pierre because he's been my favorite fighter since forever, and I think he's definitely one of the best, hands down. Okay, I'm going to mark that comment right there. So let's see here. I'll tell you what's interesting about that, okay? I'll tell you what's interesting about your comment right there, Ty. So he's the best of all time, right? At 170, and then obviously he won the 185 belt and then left it, right? By the way, that's kind of similar to what John Jones did, but a little bit different. People sort of want John Jones. Whereas with St. Pierre, they were okay with him leaving because what they wanted was for St. Pierre to go out on top. And they don't want John Jones to go out on top because they don't believe that he deserves it. Okay, so back to what I was saying about Anthony Yarde, right? Anthony Yarde, before I was, he says losing connection, can't hear the breaking up. Okay, how about now? Is the connection better now? So what I was saying was that Anthony Yarde is the Dustin Poirier of boxing. Okay, he has taken on everybody that is worthwhile looking at, right? He's taken on Arthur Beterbiev, and then he's taken on Kovalev. Now he's taken on David Benavidez. So he's taken on all the monsters that are considered monsters in the world of boxing, right? You can't deny him of that. So, yeah, man, you can't deny David Benavidez. I'm sorry, Anthony Benavidez. Unfortunately, the problem with David Benavidez is that he is the boogeyman of the division or the divisions that he hovers over, and nobody wants to fight him. And that's a problem for his career because that could lead his career into a stalemate. But here comes Anthony Yarde, okay, a once-in-a-lifetime type of boxer that will literally take on anybody, the type of boxer that I think would be favored by the likes of Turki Al-Sheikh, not because they want him to win, but because he will go out there and step up to the plate in ways that nobody else will. So with that in mind, here we are, David Benavidez. Also, another tough fight that is going on in that card is going to consist of Devin Haney taking on Norman. Okay, and look, this is at 147. Okay, so this is going to be a very difficult fight. How about now? Let me know if you can hear me right now. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me right now. Now, yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you were saying, I loved Anderson Silva in his prime, of course, Khabib, but everyone loved him. He's probably the best overall. So, okay, going back to George St. Pierre being your favorite guy, right? What do you think about this weekend's 170 fight between Bilal Muhammad and Ian Gary? Now, here's the interesting thing about this matchup, right? Does Ian Gary have better takedown defense than Jack Della Maddalena? And that is the overall question that we really need to ask regarding this particular fight. That's what we need to ask. We need to ask if Jack Della Maddalena has better takedown defense than Ian Gary. Because if Ian Gary doesn't have better takedown defense than Jack Della Maddalena, then we're going to find out just how good Bilal is. Because we found out how good Jack Della Maddalena is. He says, I was going to say that Ian has amazing takedowns. Yes, Ian is very well-rounded, right? Unlike Conor McGregor, who in his whole entire career as an Irishman in the UFC constantly just relied on his left hand. That is Conor McGregor's whole entire career is his left hand. The threat of his left hand was there. Yes, did he have kicks? It was there. Yes, did he have submissions? Sometimes it was there. Yes, did he have decent takedown defense and also decent takedown skills? Yes, indicative of the Max Holloway-Conor McGregor fight. But he constantly just relied on his right hand to the point where he never really rounded out himself as a rounded fighter, right? Whereas with Ian Gary, I mean, he does Qatar this weekend, yeah, is going to be hosting the UFC, right? We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Hold on, let me just, grab something here real quick. All right, back, guys. Sorry, had to run a little errand real quick. So okay, so yeah, as I was saying, right, UFC Qatar this weekend, right? Obviously, with these types of events, there is a tourism type of motivation, that's behind it, right? A tourism motivation. And also, not only that, to sort of give a standings in the world. Look, whenever you host a UFC fight, that shows prominence within that country. It shows that that country is a first world country. It is a country that is capable of hosting events, obviously hosting, the World Cup, hosting all of these types of things. And, as a result, this is what we have. Look, they are just coming off of a bombing from Israel, right? Because Israel had suspected Qatar of being a facilitator of Hamas, which, by the way, they are openly. Not only are they a facilitator of Hamas, they are also a facilitator of the Taliban. So Hamas and the Taliban have offices in Qatar, and I want you to keep that in mind, right? But why are they hosting UFC fights? Well, that's a very interesting question, class, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because they are the Switzerland of the Middle East. That is the best way to really describe Qatar. Qatar is the quintessential Switzerland of the Middle East. That is the best way to put it. So they work with everybody. Remember in World War II, who did Switzerland work with? They worked with the Allied nations, which consists of the United States, Britain, and France. But they also worked with the Axis, Germany, Japan, and all the other countries that were on the other side of World War II, right? That is the interesting position that Switzerland has in the geopolitical sphere of the world. Right now, Qatar is in that same position. Not only is Qatar friends with the United States, with Israel, with other Arab allied states in the region, right? Other Gulf states such as Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Oman. I think they are also tied in with Iran as well. So they have a very interesting position in the world. Ty says, I'm excited for that fight. No, I'm going to say Ian for the win. Okay. He says, I don't know if you read my comments. I didn't hear you. Muted again. Oh, okay. Can you hear me right now? Let me know if you guys can hear me right now. So, Okay, he says now yes. Okay, he says if you're muted again. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, how about right now? Let's make sure. Okay, loud and clear now. Okay, perfect, perfect. Loud and clear. Good, good. Okay, so, all right, man. UFC Qatar, a lot of things that are going on right now in UFC Qatar. Obviously, the political implications. Did you hear that part where I talked about what are the political implications behind Qatar? Obviously, I was saying Qatar is the Switzerland of the Middle East, right? So they have a very interesting position. Not only are they friends with the Taliban, they have offices of the Taliban in Qatar, in Doha, but not only do they have, he says, yes, I heard all of that. Okay, perfect. Oh, hold on just a second. All right, so he says, yeah, I gotta go for now. Okay, shout out to you, Ty. Thank you for tapping in. Hopefully you will be here tomorrow, 6 a.m. I am going to be live for the fights tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm probably going to replay my open workout video that I did today, and then we'll, we'll do it like that. But yes, man, shout out to you. All right, man, my man sends me 7 clutches. Shout out to you, my man. And tell all your friends to subscribe as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And yeah, hopefully we will see you the next time around. So, okay, guys. What else do we have going on here? So, okay, the ring. Okay, other fights that are going on in the ring. Abdullah Mason taking on Sam Noakes. Now, this is what I like, right? Undefeated guys fighting each other. This is what we need in the world of boxing, right? We need a lot of that. By the way, guys, while speaking of Middle Eastern and Muslim countries, yeah, I'm going to Friday prayers. I think I'm going to take you guys with me on this live stream. I don't know if I'm going to videotape it per se, but I am going to have an audio of it, so you guys are going to join me in this topic. So Ernie Johnson says MMA debate. Yeah, let me know what MMA debate you would like to particularly debate about, right? What is worth the MMA debates right now, as you say. Let me know on the comment section below. All right, guys, hold on just a second. We will be in Juma in just a second. If you could just excuse me, I'm going to make wudu, and I will be right back, okay? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, Hayya Falah, Hayya Salah, Hayya Kama, Qad Salah, Qad Kama, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Bismillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina anta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Sami Allahu liman hamidah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina anta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. إذا جاء نصر الفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's go. Yeah, let me know if you can still hear me right now. You still there? Yes, I'm still here. Let me know if you can hear me right now. All right, let me know if you can hear me right now. Let me know on the chat below if I'm able to be heard right now, okay? Important to know, let me know right now. Got you. Okay, okay, so you can hear me? Yes, sir. Okay, perfect. All right, so the question was from Ernie Johnson, right? Who should be the next #1 contender? I said that Islam Makhachev should fight Morales next, right? That is the overall consensus. Now, in the last outing of Michael Morales, he looked really good and convinced a lot of people. However, the 170 division right now is a glam division, okay? It is I can hear you, Race Whisperer. All right, man, good. Division, big city, and nobody knew him. That is not a guy that you want as champion, okay? So regardless of all of these MMA guru that are talking about, oh, you know what, this fight, this sport is going to be boring with them as champion. Well, you got another thing coming, because you know what, you're talking about Islam versus Morales, nothing but fun. Islam versus Ilia Topuria moving up to go for a third belt. That's fun. Okay, he saved the division. How about Usman? That's fun. That's a legendary matchup, and then they're stable mates based on having the same manager. All of that is fun. He says it's definitely a winnable fight for Islam and for a great feather in his cap to beat a former pound-for-pound guy. Yes, yes, Ilia should have to defend before moving up. Nah, you know what, man? Yes, he will defend, because look, they're working on him fighting Paddy Pimblett right now. Okay, that is what they are working on right now, is they are working on a fight between him and Paddy Pimblett. Okay, let me get off camera for a second. I'm gonna stay on audio for the chat, but let me know if you guys can still hear me. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If you guys can still hear me, let me know. Okay. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I got to get off camera, but I will be on audio right now. Marty, let me know if you can hear me right now. We can hear you. Okay, perfect. All right, so here it is, right? Here's the overall, you know, picture of the 170 division right now and the 155 division. So Islam, okay, obviously may have an opportunity to move back down. Okay, that is a possibility that we have to look at, right? He can very much move down if he wishes. Okay, if he wishes, he can definitely move down, or Ilia can move up. But you're right, he does have to defend a belt, but now who is that against? Now look, they're talking about Paddy, right? They're talking about maybe having Paddy as the potential you know, contender. And you know what? A lot of people are having a problem with that, because they are sort of seeing Paddy as an undeserving contender, right? So if that's the case, then I don't know. I mean, I would imagine he would not be a high favorite going into that, right? I would imagine that the odds would have Ilia Topuria high up, which is why a lot of people would not really consider that a formidable challenge for him to any degree. But I don't know. Hi. All right, so Patty, what did he say here? Victory says, I have the old school mindset, so I don't like the Patty fight yet. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I like what you said there, right? When you said, you have an old school mentality about it, to where it has to go to the most deserving guy. Now the problem with all that is that we don't live in that era now, do we? Right? It's not necessarily the most deserving guy. Now look, Conor McGregor, okay, a lot of the fights that he had at 145, right? A lot of them, honestly, they were not deserving of a Jose Aldo fight. But they gave him the fight anyway and meticulously matched him up to where, where he is at right now. Now, look, if none of those things would have happened, I think it's safe to say MMA would not be where it is at today, right? So I think the UFC is doing the right thing where, all right, you know what, there's competitive architecture, competitive hierarchy, but then there's also, the aspect of, what do you call it? There's also the aspect of what is it that, the audience is looking for. And man, listen, to Patty and the Ilya fight has a story that, literally writes itself, right? So it's a story that literally writes itself. I urge you to just look at the background of their beef and some of the things that were said. And oh man, listen, I think overall that would be a much more compelling matchup. And you know what? We would be surprised of how competitive it may be, because it's not like as if Patty is not evolving every day. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. What if he's really as good as what we would have never expected? But let me know on the comment section below while I wait up for you, while I'm here kind of running some errands right now. So like, suppose, Patty what if Patty sleeps him or submits him? Like, that's not off the far-fetched of reality. You know what? A lot of people really underestimate the ground game of Patty. They really underestimate the ground game that he has going on. You know what I mean? But even with that, even if he is a bad stylistic matchup, even with that, you're right. I have to agree with him. He says, sorry, who? Sorry, who had to do something quick? I said, oh, I did. Fresh Melon Juice says, Patty beat 3 long streak losers. He's Moicano would say a turtle in the tree. Okay. Patty, Topuria. There's a possibility. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a possibility. They all can, they all can do that to each other. Obviously, they have, more than the capabilities of doing so, right? But, at the same time, He says, bro has the worst takes ever. Listen, here's the thing about MMA takes, right? Like, what does that all even really mean? Like, oh, that's a good take. Like, you don't know. Let me tell you what a bad take is, right? A bad take is saying that Ronda Rousey is going to get knocked out by Holly Holmes in 2014. That's a bad take. But looking in hindsight, it doesn't seem like, really the worst take ever, right? So you never really know how good or how bad a take is until it's put to the test. So he says MMA Guru at least has some decent takes and explains it well. Well, I don't understand what your obsession is with comparing to MMA. I mean, all of you, honestly, all of you, right? A lot of you have this weird comparison to MMA Guru, and this and that. Like, listen, guys, listen. Here's something you got to understand about MMA Guru, right? He only knows the sport through the superficial lens and not the reality of actual tangible realities to the sport, right? Like, so I don't know, but hey, you know what? Kudos to him. I'm not hating or anything. You know what I mean? It's he does give good takes, and he does he does create good content. We can't take that away from him, but it's just weird how a lot of you have this, this strange affinity to defend him at all costs. Victory says taking out Bobby Green the way he did was impressive, but other than beating whether Tony and Chandler, he hasn't beaten anyone. Yeah, bro, because you know what? He's a big money name, bro. You know what I mean? And you know what? And quite frankly, here's the thing that you guys have to understand about quote unquote boring fighters versus fighters that know how to put themselves out there, right? If you actually put in the time that Patty has to sort of market himself, if you actually put in the time that, let's say, Jake or Logan Paul has to propel themselves into where they're at, I think they are highly deserving of that A-side treatment, and even so, favorable matchups on the way to the top, because that is literally half of the battle when it comes to prize fighting. You guys have to understand that. Connor says he's not racist, so stop jumping on the bandwagon. Don't ever wonder why you don't have a big following. I mean, you listen, here, that's just another dumb thing to say, like, oh, and you wonder why you don't have a big following. First of all, how do you even know what it means or what it takes to even try and have a following online or this and that, or how to even get there? How do you even, like, stop it, bro. Listen, let me tell you something, guys. If you have a YouTube channel, whether you just use it to be a user and to comment on things, or you actually use it as a way to, build a channel or build, or whatever, right? If you don't have any commercials on your videos, okay, you watch all my videos, whether it's a live stream or whether it's a video, they all have commercials. If you ain't got commercials on your videos, don't even talk to me about following or this and that, or trying to like view shame, this and that. Like, none of y'all, like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even the realm that, look, no disrespect, that is way out of your pay grade. You know what I mean? Like, that's really all there is to it. Like, that's not even a conversation, for you to have. That's a conversation for the big boys, and, yeah, I'm sorry, but, you're just trying to say that to feel better about yourself, to, basically, get a one-up on, on an online debate, if you think about it. Camp Shout says, I agree, he is not racist, he just says some edgy takes. And here's the thing, I never said that he was, right? I never said that he was. If I said that on a thumbnail or, or in a headline title, rest assured that it is for the reasons of trying to attract, that's basically, the intention behind it. You know what I mean? As headlines and, and whatnot. So, Jesse Bless says, grow up. If you watched the stream, people are talking about it. Had nothing to do with most of the shit of what he's being accused of. Okay, Victory says, I don't care if he's racist or not, but he's definitely, yeah, that's the thing. Why did you cancel Guru? I didn't cancel him per se. Fresh says 0. Camp Hoot says, what is your top 5 lightweights currently and welterweights do you think that has the best chance of beating Islam? Okay, so none of them. None of them. I mean, Morales, maybe because of the height and, and being such a huge, 145er. Other than that, really no one. No one really. Look, do you know how GSP was perfect at 170 back in the days, right? That's sort of what he is in that weight class right now. And then he can do a little bit of everything. Plus, he has the finishing ability that GSP had in the latter part of his career. Daddy hands. Okay, that's an... Guru is a Kyrie Abu El-Kheer fan. Watch Clown says. You think so? No, I doubt it. I doubt he watches my content. I maybe, who knows, man? He does watch, all types of content. So who knows, right? I mean, we are all on the same space. So I wouldn't doubt it. Fresh Melon Juice says, I'm pretty sure Guru is racist. Well, look, think about it, right? Look, think about why he probably would be, right? I mean, the dude lives in London, you know what I mean? On a daily basis, living in London and then looking like that, you get beat up by people that look like me. And then, of course, you're going to feel some kind of way, you know what I mean? So if he's like that, I mean, I don't really care as long as he doesn't. And here's another thing, right? He's not the type of guy that goes outside, to any degree. He's not a going outside, type of person. So therefore, you're never going to see him, in any functions that deal with the MMA industry or YouTube or anything like that. He stays inside because he knows that it would be, a security risk for him. All right, let's see here. What did Fresh said? He says, Miller, you calling Kyrie G-A-Y douchebag? No, he's not. He's definitely not calling me that. He was referring to MMA Guru, and he is. You know what? Here's the thing, right? This is, look, you want who do you think? Let me ask you guys something, right? Between me and MMA Guru, okay, who do you think has a worse temper? Right? Like if you really break that down to, just, your overall superficial understanding of both of our personalities, right? Like, who would you give that to? Would you give that to him, or would you give that to me, right? I think deep down, a lot of you would give that to me, right? And not him, because here's the thing, right? What MMA Guru has going on, what he has going on is, well, you know, he's sort of playing a character, isn't he? Right? That's really the best way to put it. He's playing a character. So he's not genuinely this type of guy, right? He is playing a character. Like, in other words, all of these things that he's acting like a douchebag, or, you know, or saying all of these, you know, horrible racially charged statements, or this and that, all of that, in my humble opinion, is nothing more than just, you know, playing a character. Yeah, so did he say stand up and flex? Did Kamzat just say that? Victory says, you missed a good troll interaction the other night, Fresh. Someone told Kyrie they were going to shave his beard. Yeah, man. I mean, what an idiot, right? Like, you honestly think I'm just going to let you sit there and do that? Like, without me, you know, absolutely knifing you up to the core? Like, sorry about that. I had to pause there for a second. What did my man here say? As of November 21st, 2025, UFC middleweight champion Chimaev is confirmed that he needs a small operation on his foot due to injury. Yes. Yes, that is what he's got going on right now. Now, at this time, he told them that he has tech friends and they will find where he lives. He loves conflict and violence. Yes, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. You know, these dudes, look, I guarantee you these dudes, the majority, I mean, look, there's a lot of dudes out there that are real badasses, right? But for the majority of the human race, I honestly think there's very few people in the world that love violence more than I do. Like, I absolutely love violence. And, you know, not to the sick way of, let's say, hurting innocent people or anything like that, but obviously in a way where it is competitive. That is why me and you and everyone around here talk about MMA, because we love a sport that sort of carries this type of tenacity, right? A tenacity that, by the way, is honestly really missing in our modern culture today, right? It is absolutely missing in our modern culture today, right? The act of viciousness, the aspect of, you know, creating a sense of defense for yourself, your family, and this and that. Like, oh man, I don't want to get too political, but obviously, you know, if you live in California, you know there's no self-defense laws over here, right? So you kind of know where I am getting with that, right? It's the feminization of society, as the way you put it, right? And then the limited amount of clips that you are allowed to hold in your gun in California is just absolutely ridiculous. And they wonder why gang members go out there and buy illegal guns from, you know, other entities out there, and you know, and basically rock out till somebody's top comes out. Let's see. Fresh Melon Juice says a recovery timeline. He is stated a return after Ramadan. That's not too long, man. That isn't really too long, right? After Ramadan, and then he starts training. He'll be back for the White House. If Khamzat wants a fight at the White House, my man, they're going to give it to him. Should Khamzat relinquish his belt like Jiri Prochazka did when he was injured? Sure. Sure. But we don't know if he is going to be out that long. You know, and on top of that, I think the majority of the 185ers have to go out there and prove themselves. They got to go out there and prove themselves worthy of you know, of that championship opportunity. And right now, I don't think they are proving that much right now. So yeah. Let me see here. The fuck is wrong with you, faggot? Eat shit. Hell yeah, a little road rage incident. You know what I'm saying? Haha. You know what I mean? You'll never see this anywhere else. He says training camp won't resume until April 2026, the earliest, meaning no fights before mid 2026. Errol says hi. Shout out to you, my man. He should, but he won't. Yes, that's true. Yeah, man. I had to get a little bit of a road rage in. You know what? Listen, I don't even get mad at road rage incidents. You know, I just did that for the sake of entertainment because I was on live stream and I figured I'd just, you know, do it to entertain you guys. But for the most part, man, if I'm not on camera, I would just be like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're mad, you know, go get mad. He says, what did he say here? What did he say here? That's not racist. What's not racist? Fresh, let me know what you mean when you say that's not racist. What exactly is not racist in your humble opinion? What you are trying to state, let me know on the comment section below, my man. Yeah, man. Very excited, man. What else? Yo, let me know on the comment section below. What other matches are you excited for on the Ring #4 boxing card and also on UFC Qatar? Combat Sports Middle Eastern weekend, right? One in Qatar and one in Saudi Arabia. Very interesting stuff. By the way, literally on the same time that Mohammed bin Salman met with Donald Trump at the White House. And what happened at the White House? They asked Mohammed bin Salman, hey, U.S. intelligence know for a fact that you killed a journalist. What do you say about this? Donald Trump goes and defends Mohammed bin Salman. And then Mohammed bin Salman speaks in he doesn't know what happened, but at the same time, also sounding very remorseful. I don't know if you guys caught any of that during the Saudi visit with Trump and MBS. Let me know if you guys, did you guys see the Jake Paul AJ face-off? No, I did not. No, it was a huge difference. What's a huge difference? Let me know. Are you talking about the difference between their size? Bro, Jake Paul is crazy for taking this fight, isn't he? Right? Really out of his mind for deciding to take this fight. right? And quite frankly, I don't know if I necessarily blame Jake Paul for taking this fight, but at the same time, it's a big bag. And maybe Jake Paul owes Netflix some sort of money. He says after the meeting, oh, dude, it looked like Jake versus Tank reverse. Wow, okay. So now Jake Paul is Tank Davis and Anthony Joshua is Jake Paul. I got it. Yeah, Joshua towered over him. He says, what's wrong with your voice? How about this? What's wrong with your screen name? Oh, that's right. You just got banned for 24 hours. Oop, there you go. Banned. I mean, what a real dumb comment, right? Like, real dumb comments of you people to make, like, oh, you know, your voice sounds weird, this and that. You're just trying to find any low-hanging fruit to feel better about yourself because you're a bum in your life and you're never going to be worth anything and you don't even have any money in your freaking bank account. How does that feel, you poor idiot? Huh? How does that feel to be a poor idiot and, you know, not having any money in your bank account at all? You know what I mean? My own, man, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, you people are bums. That's why you come in here and you say dumb things, because you're bums. Think about it. You are a bum. Look, let me ask you something, man. Does TJ Dillashaw come into my live chat and talk shit to me? No, he doesn't. You want to know why? Because he's doing great in life and he's living a retired life of a former champion. So he ain't worried about none of you small fries. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing to a small fry to a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. He says, look at the road. Look at the road. Really dumb comment right there. How about this? How about you look at your screen name? Oh, there you go. Your screen name is gone. You're banned for life because you're an idiot. And you just want to come in here and say things to feel better about yourself. Do you feel better about yourself? Let me ask you something. Do you feel better about yourself that you have to come in here and say stupid things and then get banned? Like, imagine, right? You got to go home to your kids and your wife and you say to them, hey, I went on an internet chat today and talked shit to some YouTuber who's living a better life than me. I mean, honestly, he says TJ is scared with his broken shoulder. Stop it, Fresh. You know what I mean? You be disrespecting TJ a little too much for my liking. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you try and try to correlate the fact that I look young and by taking EPOs. You know what I mean? Like. But man, listen, all of you, if you want to troll, learn from Fresh, right? He knows how to troll better than all of you, right? He knows how to knock my balls a little bit, but at the same time, he also knows how to be very respectful. So that's that, man. All right, so what else do we have going on? Obviously, that's about an hour's worth of a live stream that I just did right now. Let's see, what else? What else do we have going on this weekend? You know what? I could go over the whole entire card. You know what? Maybe I'll just do that once I hit the office right now. Obviously, I am driving back to HQ right now. Whatever HQ that is, there's multiple HQs that I have going on around California. So we will talk about the rest of the fights once I hit to HQ. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. How far we are right now. Let's see here. He says, Fresh, you got to listen to the Dom Cruz podcast with TJ Dillashaw. Bro, listen. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. A lot of nostalgic moments they were bringing up. A lot of moments that TJ Dillashaw is talking about that I understand behind the scenes, right? Like with Master Tong. Being a former part of Team Alpha Male, when he talked about that, and just real old school MMA and old school MMA that I happen to have. I will be All right, guys, I'm back. All right, so like EPO high or regular high? EPO high. Fresh Melon Juice says, is it a funny one? I did see a trailer on the Cruz podcast. It looked good. Yeah, bro. Dominic Cruz's podcast is very good, right? You know, I think that it's good to come out with podcasts because, well, let's be honest, right? You know, a lot of fighters never really made a lot of money. You know, especially in the era of Dominic Cruz, right? Not even George St. Pierre. Okay, like let's put that in perspective, right? Not even George St. Pierre made the type of money that he should have made, and you know, and that's the reason why he sort of came back, right? You know, to sort of get, you know, that extra money and whatnot. So, let's see here. He says, yeah, there are some funny parts, but it was good. Dom still got some shots in, but he was cool, though. Yeah, man. Look, it was really interesting to see TJ and Dominic Cruz, you know, get along the way that they did. I thought it was very beautiful to watch, man. I honestly thought that it was beautiful to watch. I think we need more of that, right? But there are some rivalries that you're never going to see that, right? You're never going to see the notion of, let's say Khabib and Conor. Would you imagine? You know what though? I would rate that Conor and Khabib at some point will get over all of these things that are going on, right? Especially now that Conor McGregor is locked in. By the way, he deactivated his social media account. Right? He deactivated his social media account. So I think that's going to be interesting right there, right? Okay, first, let's get to the cards, okay? Let's get to the cards of UFC this weekend before we get to anything else, okay? So in the very beginning of the card, we got Merrick Bugello taking on Denzel Freeman. Okay, 6-1 versus 6-0. Okay, so very interesting. Okay, let me put this on the timestamp right here. So just so we can what would this be considered right here? I guess this would